One, two, what? No shit! That's right, kick out $1 million Willie super kick. It's my birthday, so all you punk fans out there better send me birthday wishes. If not, I'll cuss you all out. Wouldn't that be embarrassing to lose to a jobber? I'd laugh my ass off.
But thanks to all the haters.
Welcome to the first episode of the X-Fire Dynamite X show. And tonight I have a special guest, the general manager of YTXW, Tony James. Tony, welcome to the show.
Good to be here.
Well, Tony, I got tons of questions to ask you. And let's see what they got here. And I got tons of people and fans asking you on the YTXW website, asking some questions about you. So I hope you can answer.
I'm looking forward to providing some answers.
All right. First of all, Tony, a little over a year ago, you debuted here in YTXW, and you competed in an 8-man tournament to determine the first ever YTXW World Champion. Your thoughts on that tournament and the opponents you faced?
You know, my thoughts on the tournament are exactly this. Several really talented guys getting in there, going at it, each with their own individual skills. You know, that's one hell of a thing to be a part of. You know? I mean, I'm not going to say I was the best that I could have been there because, you know, that completely disregards the amount of talent that was in each and every one of the superstars there. And I think it'd be unfair to say I was the best because, you know, I'm not the best. They're all talented in their own ways, and you know, it was an honor to be a part of something so historical to YTXW.
Yep. And you did a great job. You competed right up to the finals, and you lost to the $1 Million Willie. All right. Then you went on and main event at the very first pay-per-view. Your thoughts on that main event match and on the $1 Million Willie's skills in the ring since you competed against him, and the debut of Warlock. Your thoughts on all three of them?
Well, you know, competing against $1 Million Willie was crazy. I mean, like I said, talent on both sides of the coin, you know, and that, you know, that alone is something that makes for great entertainment. And was it scary? Yeah. But you know, you need a little fear in that ring because it's what keeps you it's what keeps you motivated. And you know, if you're not a little scared, then you know it's not really that good. It helps to be a little scared because that's how you know you're thinking about it in a way that is sane and not insane. I mean, you'd be insane to go into a match without a little bit of fear. And in regards to, you know, Warlock and his debut, that was incredible, and you know, yeah, I was speechless to say the least when he showed up.
But Tony, he kicked your ass. He beat you so badly that the board of directors had to appoint you as general manager of the show because Mr. KS at the time was going through a lawsuit about his company management. And they had to appoint you as general manager because he whooped your ass so bad. I heard you're still healing from those assault that he gave you at No Limits. We haven't seen you compete in a ring since then.
Let's put it this way. He beat me pretty bad, but I've been through worse. Okay? One example I can give is, I've had lots and lots of surgery throughout my life. I got scars from all kinds of different surgeries that I've had to have, like on my neck and my legs and my hips and stuff like that, and my spine. And to say that that's the worst thing that's happened to me is to not take into account some of the other stuff that's happened to me. I mean, you're talking to a guy here who had what's called a halo brace put on him when he was a kid, and had several metal bolts screwed into his head. Now, I had an accident actually with that, where those bolts went into my head and nearly killed me. I was rushed off to the hospital by an ambulance all because a kid pushed me over. So, to see how far I've come from being that little kid that used to be scared of being pushed over, to being someone like I am now that, can stand up for myself and is probably tougher than I was 10 years ago. I reckon that's, pretty cool.
Yep, it's pretty cool that you bounce back through all the surgeries and stuff that you've gone through as a kid. Okay, let's talk a little bit about your personal life here. We all know we're going. YTXW staff knows you're going back to school. What are you studying?
Well, me, I want to be a filmmaker, so I'm studying moving image at the moment. I'm doing a moving image degree, and moving image is basically filmmaking. So I've been learning about editing and storytelling and all kinds of different stuff. And I guess my goal in terms of that is to provide Hollywood with some unique ideas. Because time and time again, I see Hollywood resorting to the same remakes or resorting to turning books into movies and stuff like that. And it's like, I ask myself sometimes, where is the originality here? I mean, we're starting to see some unique movies, but, I really feel that, when I get into making movies, I'm looking forward to making some movies that perhaps will surprise a few people.
Well, best of luck in that, Tony. Hope everything turns out good for you. Okay, Tony, behind the scenes in YTXW, we know when you're on the show, you're the general manager. What do you do? What do you do behind the scenes in YTXW? What is your role?
Well, the role is sort of in the name, general manager. I generally manage. I manage generally. And that's really the basic way to put it. I just manage this and that's needed to progress things, and maybe little tweaks need to be made to the storyline, or someone's voiceovers need to get done, and someone needs tips on stuff like that, then I'll come in and help them with that. It's whatever needs to be done in and around the place to get the show out there and get people enjoying the show that they seem to love.
Okay. Tony, let's go and talk about WWE for a little bit. The upcoming is their huge pay-per-view, WrestleMania 30. And what are your thoughts about the returning Hulk Hogan on hosting WrestleMania 30 this year?
Oh man, I feel for Hulk Hogan, because I heard recently he's been going through a lot of personal stuff, and at one point he wasn't doing that great. So, it's good to see him back in front of the wrestling audience, because this is a legend here. This is a guy I grew up watching on TV when I was a kid. This is a guy you grew up watching on TV when you were a kid. This guy is of an era that no longer exists in wrestling, but should not be forgotten. Because in my mind, actually, that era, the era he was in, was the best era of wrestling, because he defined WrestleMania for what he did, and that's obvious by things like Hulkamania, which he set up back when he was in his heyday.
Well, I know it's great to see Hulk Hogan back in the WWE and hosting WrestleMania 30, which should be an awesome show. Also, I got some questions from fans that I looked up earlier today before the show started on the YTXW YouTube inbox and off the YTXW message board inbox. And I'm going to ask you some of these questions and just try and answer them as much as you can. Question number 1 from a fan wanted to know, Tony, why do you wrestle with your sunglasses on?
Oh man, I've been asked this before in private conversations, and the reason I wrestle with my sunglasses on is because my future is so damn bright that I can't see without them.
Your future's so damn bright you can't see without them. Well, we'll wait and see on that. Another female fan wants to know, Tony, are you dating anyone?
Oh man, interesting question. Actually, recently in January, actually, just this year, I got talking. Well, I've been talking to her for a while. She's been a friend of mine for a long time. This girl named Natasha. Now, Natasha lives in Croatia, and she's been beside me through some of my lower points in life, and she's always helped me feel positive about things. And in January, me and her hooked up, and even though she lives on the other side of the world, we're dating now, and I think that's really cool. I mean, the best way to describe her, I guess, and my relationship with her is she's like the yin to my yang. She's the other part of me that has created a sense of equality and wholeness that I think is really beautiful. I mean, she's really just a phenomenal person. Now, I'm yet to figure out whether I'll be able to go out and see her in Croatia, but hopefully someday in the future I may be able to do that.
Well, I guess that girl is blind or something if she's dating you. Did you show her a picture of me while you were talking to her? Because I know I'm damn good looking. Because I'm Dynamite X. And by the way, with your saying your future's so bright and you have to wear those damn sunglasses, well, your future lately is being general manager. Now I gotta ask you a question about that damn general manager position. How many asses did you had to kiss in the YTXW board of directors to get that spot? Because we know your wrestling career is going down the toilet.
That's a bit harsh. Cause I didn't have to kiss any asses. I just showed up to work one day in YTXW, and someone said, you've been not doing that great in the show, and your career has gotten off to a bit of a terrible start, to be honest.
Tony.
But why not? Have a chance to redeem yourself and get into general manager. So I said, yeah, sure, why not? I want to make it very clear. I never asked anyone to be general manager. I was offered the job, and I said, yeah.
But Tony, your career started off awful in YTXW. It started off terrible. You blew an 8-man tournament. The $1 Million Willie whooped your ass in the finals of that 8-man tournament. And you got a second shot thanks to me because I refereed your match and gave you a second shot. You became number one contender to face the $1 Million Willie in your living room, and you blew it. Tony, you blew it because you let a 7'4" monster come to the ring and kick your ass. Tony, you're a huge guy. You could have taken out Orla, but no. You got taken out and beaten so badly, and the YTXW executives felt so bad to you and probably didn't want no goddamn lawsuits pointed on them, because I knew you probably would have filed because you got injured so badly, and they offered you a position of power of general manager.
Well, and yeah, there is that, but I remain humble in the fact that even though. The way I look at it actually is that I hate Warlock for what he did, but I thank him for what he did, because if he didn't do what he did, I wouldn't be where I am.
Yeah, general managing. You should be back by then. If I was you and got attacked by Warlock, I would have been back in the ring within a month. But no, you've been general manager. You have not competed in the ring. Hell, I've been sitting there commentating for a year now, and I just got off the biggest rivalry in my career in the decade. And I can get back in that ring tomorrow if I wanted to and become YTXW champion. You, Tony, I don't think you got what it takes anymore.
Well, I believe I do. I mean, I think the best way to look at it is this. I could have gone back in to the ring the next day or the next day to fight instead of being general manager. But when I was offered the job of general manager, I found out that I was better off in something like that. I was better off preserving my ego, remaining humble, and saying, there are other superstars in this roster that deserve that title more than I do at this stage. And damn it, they can have it before me. It doesn't matter if I get it or not. If I get it in the future, that's great. I'll look forward to it. But you know, there are other people that want to achieve that goal too. So I might as well let them.
Well, I guess you have to survive as general manager because I surely don't think you'd survive as a wrestler. Because think of it, Tony, the $1 million Willie has been champion on 2 occasions, and this guy has been dominating YTXW since day one. And Tony, if you were still competing, I'd say you probably would be a jobber or maybe, just maybe, in the hardcore division.
DX. Who You're talking to a guy who bounced back from several surgeries and so on. So to say that I couldn't do well in the wrestling thing is severely untrue. I could do brilliantly if I wanted to. I guess I'm just holding back to let other people shine. I mean, heck, if someone said, "Hey, Tony, get back in that ring today," I would say yes. Immediately, I would get back in there and I'd give it everything I've got, and I would give the fans the time of their life. But the time hasn't called for that yet. So right now, I'm sort of taking the back seat, I guess, watching it all play out, and I'll step in when it's my time to shine.
Well, we'll have to wait and see about that. All right, moving on here. On the YTXW website, it has been mentioned you've been fired at one time. How many times have you been fired from YTXW when you first came to work for the company?
As far as I know, I've lost count.
Well, you're the only guy that I know who's gotten fired and rehired and fired and rehired by the chairman of this company so many times that ain't funny. Apparently,
I guess that's I guess the reason that is because I am I'm very particular, and I push the limits here and there, and to be honest, I realized that would have got on the nerves of a few of the staff members of YTXW. I mean, I saw YTXW as being a lot more than it was, and I guess that was the reason. That was one way to look at it. Another way to look at it is, it was kind of a struggle to keep me, because I know people working with YTXW were debating between themselves whether they wanted me or they didn't want me. At one point they did, at one point they didn't. At one point they did, at another point they didn't. And that was really where I got fired and rehired and stuff, was where they were going through the stages of deciding who they wanted me to be and where I should stand in the company. And I think they found that place when they hired me as general manager. They said, we tried you as a superstar, but, you're more cut out for the business side of the wrestling.
Business side of wrestling. Well, okay, let's talk a little bit about your business side of wrestling. Who do you work closely with on the business side of wrestling in YTXW?
I work closely with everyone who's involved with it behind the scenes. I work with you, of course. I work with KS. I work with Patty, who has been our interviewer in the past. I work with each and every one of the people in different ways, and at different times. depending on what the story involves, I'll be talking to different people and working with them to sort of get things done. Because I mean, the cool thing about YTXW is, despite all the rivalries that go on show, we're all friends in real life, and that's one thing a lot of the fans want to expect of us, is that we're all friends, and we all have enough of a love for wrestling to sort of, or even just acting, to sort of go and do something that the fans of wrestling love. Because, I think that's the cool thing about us, actually, is that we're all fans of the show. So we're fans doing what fans want to see.
Fans want to see. Well, I got a question about the fans want to see. Why the hell did you hire Patty as an interviewer? She bores me half to death, and also she don't ask intelligent questions. She asks the stupidest questions of all times, and the people she does interviews with don't even want to talk to her half the time. Half the people cuss her out. And when she says, when we take her, we'll be right back after a word from our sponsors. Hell, I could be more entertaining doing this. I could find a monkey. I could find a monkey to do the damn job.
That's unfair. You know, DX, you gotta hold back your ego for a sec and realize that there was one fundamental reason I hired her, and that was that her in particular I work well with as she's like a sister to me, actually, and
is it with benefits?
And the main reason I hired her, and I said this back in the day, on the day when that decision was made that we needed her in the business, that we needed some piss and vinegar. We needed something that brought some aggression into the company, and most of all, we needed a female perspective. We had so many males in the show that we needed a female to even things out. Because, I mean, I realize that wrestling attracts a major male audience, but females watch it as well. Patty herself watches it as well. So, to ignore that female demographic is a bit of a silly thing to do. So I think that was the reason why she was hired, because she is that demographic. And, she may be in training as far as interview goes, but behind the scenes, she has some very interesting ideas.
Well, she better get better in interview. Man, she's put me to sleep when I gotta watch her. Oh, we're moving on. Tony. And I understand that you're running a little company called Digital Skull Productions. What are you been working on currently on Digital Skull Productions?
Well, Digital Skull Productions is, it's my little film thing. And mainly I've just been doing stuff like YouTube videos and things like that. It's really just been to do with my YouTube stuff. Eventually, I'll start attaching it to the films I do through school, but I'm a while away off that yet, and hopefully one day I hope to branch it out to the point where it's at the end of the movies that I make for the cinema. Because, yeah.
Yeah, cinema. We'll like to see a movie that you created. I'll probably 50 years from now. They should make a movie after me. I'd be a good movie star. Hell, I'll probably be even better than the Rock. Oops, sorry, Dwayne. I'll tell you, people thinking they're Hollywood hot shots and they come back and thinking they can win the title and only defend it on pay-per-views. That's a bunch of bullshit. That's all I gotta say. All right, Tony, I got a couple questions to ask you. Then we're gonna close the show out. Question number one, Tony. Your thoughts on your boss coming back to YTXW Collision as chairman of the board after Extreme Judgment. Your thoughts on that?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that again?
I said, at Extreme Judgment, your boss, the chairman of the board, Mr. KS, won his match and became chairman of the board again. Your thoughts on his return on Collision?
That return was a hell of a return. You know, I gotta hand it to KS, actually. KS is, KS actually, he's the man, and a lot of people don't realize this, but he is the man that has made this company what it is today. He defines YTXW. He is the definition of it. You know, if you were to look, if YTXW was in the dictionary right now, I swear that I would turn to that page in that dictionary and I would see KS's face because he defines it. He is the essence of it. He is everything that is YTXW and everything that each superstar in YTXW should try to be. You know? I mean, he's the definition of success as well. He's taken, you know, a very interesting idea and he's gathered up some friends and made a very nice little company. Now, it's still to get a lot bigger than it is, but he's done very well so far.
Very well. The son of a bitch came back, my opinion. He's a glory hogger, and he stunned me on his first night back. How dare he put his hands on me? And you say looking up in the dictionary, if it was in the dictionary, you see a picture of him. If I saw a picture of him, it makes me throw up. The guy gets more airtime than anyone else on that damn roster, including myself, and I'm the voice. If anything should be in the dictionary of YTXW, it should be me, because I've been on that episode for 16 episodes and 3 pay-per-views.
Yeah. But, you know, at the end of the day, he's the one behind the curtains, like the Wizard of Oz, pulling the strings to watch the magic, to make the magic happen. You know, he's like, I'm going to refer to him as wrestling's Walt Disney. You know, he stands behind there and he makes the magic happen.
You damn right. He reminds me of Mickey Mouse. He reminds me of Mickey Mouse.
Oh, man.
Like a rat. Slat him. Give him rat poisoning or something.
Well, you know, in regards to him, you know, and what he had with you, because he had a dispute with you, you know, good on him for doing what he did there, because I reckon he put you in your place. I mean, as far as things go, I'm not going to lie, DX, you're a cool guy, but your ego sometimes gets the better of you, and I was very, very happy to see that present you got on Christmas for being naughty, not nice.
You son of a bitch. Never bring that up in my face again, or I'll just drag your ass to that ring and kick your ass down, and you'll be in the hospital, and the next thing you know, you'll be on the unemployment line, and my taxpayer money will be paying for your food stamps, because you won't be able to work. All right, Tony, I got one more question and I'm closing this show out because I'm getting sick and tired of talking to you. My final question is who's going to win at No Limits in the triple threat match when the $1 million Willie defends his title against the Painkiller Zane Crow and CJ Hawkins, which I think is unfair, and Mr. KS is just abusing his power in that match by making that match. Your thoughts on who you think's going to win?
First of all, I'll say this. KS ain't abusing squat in terms of this. You know, he is the games master in all this, and this is like the Hunger Games. You know, we got all these people, all these varieties of talent, each person from their different districts, their different, parts of the world, that are representing their country in this thing, which happens to be America. And, they're all going to give it their all. And, they've all got talent. There's no denying that. And the one who's going to win is the one who goes that little bit further. And that little bit further each and every time, And it could be any of them. I'm not going to say it's going to be one or the other, because personally, I don't know who it's going to be. I just look forward to seeing it happen, and I look forward to seeing the smile on KS's face when it does, and when someone walks out the champion.
Well, me personally, I hope the $1 million Willie retains the title and shove it in KS's face and smack the smirk off his face by putting him in that match. Well, Tony, thank you for coming to my show. Maybe you'll come back next time if I want you on my show. This is Dynamite X, the voice of YTXW and the host of the X Fire Talk Show, saying so long for now.